You guys, there are more surprises than this.
What?
Do you guys want to rapid fire through some surprises from E3 2018?
Yeah, I like that idea.
I got some.
It's debatable how much we want to talk about these, but there's so many interesting things. Reeves, do you have some? Which one are you going to start with, man?
These are in no particular order, but something
one by one, right? Or should he name a couple?
One by one. Yeah, one by one. Let's go.
What surprised me was that Naughty Dog doubles down on the gore, and we didn't even talk about. Actually, what surprised me is that we didn't talk about Last of Us 2.
Yeah,
none of us brought that up as our top 5, which is kind of crazy.
That is interesting.
That they doubled down on the gore, and I liked Last of Us 1, but man, there's something like they're pushing it a little bit further than I want them to.
Well, at the same time, I like that trailer and that whole gameplay session for Last of Us Part 2 because of the flip. I love that it opens with a sweet moment with Ellie and it closes with Ellie smiling.
Oh, this is hands down a way better trailer.
For sure. But I felt like Ellie smiling at the end of that trailer had the same impact for me personally. I was like, oh, that's such a crazy, bold thing as like the shotgun blast to close it out from what, E3 2012, whenever that was, 2013. Yeah. When they showed The Last of Us Part 1. And so they still had that big impact. In the middle, yeah, there was a lot of stabbing and throat slitting, but the cushion of the sweetness, it felt like such a different, remarkable
So maybe
Last
they
of Us
did
sequence.
learn their lesson, actually.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they kind of see Last of Us as the opposite of Uncharted, which is kind of lighthearted and family drama. It's Indiana Jones.
Right.
Well, this is a much more dramatic, gory action
This is
thing.
the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one, though. We'll definitely talk about Last of Us Part 2 in the future. I think people are going to get some longer sessions learning about it. I don't know if playing it, but certainly learning about it. So we'll talk about it on future episodes of the podcast for sure. Kyle, next surprise.
Yeah, mine are just kind of random scattershot.
I love it. That's what we want, man.
What was up with these Kingdom Hearts trailers? They were missing sound effects, right?
Yeah, that's
crazy.
100%, Kyle. I'm with you as well. Like
I really thought I was watching a broken trailer.
I mean,
100%.
like, one, I can understand maybe like Microsoft was, I don't know, sound missing, whatever. Then every other trailer did it.
And it's just, they just delayed it, and it's like not clear if sound effects aren't done. They wanted to emphasize the music because they had like custom tracks that they showed
the
like
music
the artist.
It was a new to the Hikaru song. Like, that's
okay,
a
there
big
we
deal.
go.
Yeah.
But the part that's crazy to me is, here's the problem. I think maybe I'm the only one in this camp, but like I want to love Kingdom Hearts. I love Final Fantasy. I love Square. I love Disney. I've never gotten into that series. This should be your pitch for why I should care. They showed 3 trailers. They shoved that down their throats. First half of all 3 of those trailers, totally fine. Showing a new world, couple weird dialogue beats where it's like, okay, Anna in Frozen is upset. She can't touch anybody, whatever. Like, it's dumb to put it in the middle of that movie, but whatever. I'll go along with it. And then the second half of every trailer was effing embarrassing. That was garbage.
And like
garbage, just lore dump of nonsense and no sound effects. It sounded like that Mission Impossible 5 trailer where it was like, wait, no, it was The Mummy, where they only had like one audio channel and you could hear Tom Cruise like, in the plane, except it was Mickey deep throat and goofy.
I mean,
and
I'm like totally. I love Frozen. I think that's a fantastic film. I'm happy to explore that world. Pirates of the Caribbean looks cool. Like, but those trailers is like, what are you guys doing?
It's insane.
Yeah.
No, I'm 100% with you. It's like you're turning off potential fans for Kingdom Hearts.
Action looks awesome.
Yes.
Reveals awesome, but your trailer is functionally broken.
And it's always the back half of all of those trailers. They're terrible.
I don't think Square Enix understands that it has been 14 years into the last Kingdom Hearts mainline game.
I think that's like there's no sound effects. Like,
that too. That is a whole different thing. That is
my focus. Like, even the content of it, I think I was more on board with it than you guys. But like, I was just like, this I think I'm watching a broken video. You know?
Dude, and honestly, combined with the idea that Kingdom Hearts 3 delayed into January of 2019 now, this is embarrassing. Like, Nomura, look, from the outside perspective, I don't know what's going on in that studio, but from the outside perspective, it seems pretty effing clear this guy can't run a project. Like, between Versus 13 and Kingdom Hearts 3 alone, get him the hell out of there. I don't want him touching my Final Fantasy VII remake.
Well, he
did
the first 2 Kingdom Hearts, right?
Yes.
Right, and those seem to crank out at a decent clip, and then it's just giving him more money, giving him more power within Square.
Ben,
it's a nightmare.
This is the timeline. Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, then he worked on Versus 13 until Kingdom Hearts 3.
Kingdom Hearts 2 was still like a 5-year break.
No, 2001, 2004.
No, in between first Kingdom Hearts and then the second one.
That was
2001, 2004, I think.
But still.
Right, and then we're going on 14 years. And
2001
and I understand, like, he's involved. He directed
so.
some of those Dream Drop Distance, 358/2, all that stuff.
He's not acted as director. He's acted as series producer in those. The last game he directed was Kingdom Hearts 2.
Dude, F. Nomura. Get him the hell out of here. I don't care how talented he is. Oh, he can draw some great zips. Like, that's fine. I'm a big Final Fantasy fan in general.
What is a zips? He can draw some great zips.
Some zippers.
Oh.
He's a fine art director. He's a fine artist, but it's insane. And I feel like when we visited Square for the Final Fantasy 15 cover story, there was a real vibe from Tabata and Final Fantasy 14's director, too, that, like, this is a new era Square. We're cranking these games out in a good way. Like, we know how to let the rubber hit the road. Clearly, Nomura doesn't. He's in that old, just sitting on a ivory tower up there within Square. It's embarrassing. It sucks.
There's a manga creator named Kubotite who did Bleach. And he had a statement once that, like, why does your story never go anywhere? He's like, whenever I get bored, I start drawing more characters and putting them in the story. I think that's Nomura's problem. Whenever he gets bored, he just goes on different flights of fancy.
And he draws Jack Sparrow, which is weird seeing, like, real-life looking Jack Sparrow.
I think that's why...
That was in Kingdom Hearts 2, to be fair.
Yeah. Okay,
that's why Kingdom Hearts...
the new trailer had, like, a very weird, realistic...
I think that's why that game has so much story bloat that, like, it feels like a word cloud.
Yeah.
That whenever he gets bored, he's like, okay, well, this is going to happen with Sora and them. I'm going to introduce these characters that are also actually Sora, but not. Like... That is just... I used to understand the Kingdom Hearts story. And you know how much work that took then?
Now, we want to like it. I want to like that game.
I mean, I'm going to play that game. I'm going to probably love it. And, like, Kim and I are going to freak out about it. But it's... What the fuck were those trailers?
Right. 100%. Okay.
And maybe it wouldn't have been so bad if they didn't show it 2 or 3 times.
Yes.
So many times.
And the back halves were not this different. They were the same. Like, mostly the same.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, this is supposed to be rapid fire. What do you got, Imran?
Okay, so this isn't so much a surprise as a thing I want to point out.
Yeah.
Remember when Phil Spencer was like, every game I'm going to show to you is like a major thing, like a new reveal after this. And then the very first game he showed, he made mention of like, my trip to Japan, I went to these guys and showed them a new thing. And it was Jump Force, which, I don't care about Jump Force that much.
Hang on, explain what Jump Force is, though.
Jump Force is a Shonen Jump-based fighting game that the revealed characters have been Luffy from One Piece, Goku from Dragon Ball, Frieza from Dragon Ball, Naruto from Naruto, and Light and Ryuk from Death Note.
So it's like Naruto fighting Frieza in this 3D action game.
I think it kind of looks bad, like we put Mario in an Unreal 4 tech demo sort of way.
Okay.
But anyway, the reason I think he did that, or Microsoft did that, is because the Xbox One has had such a problem with Japanese games and people who like Japanese games. And think about last year. There was no Persona 5 on Xbox One, no Nier Automata, no Yakuza. If you like Japanese games, why would you ever recommend the Xbox One?
They did have Fighters last year, which was a big deal.
True. And Nier Automata is coming to Xbox One,
but yeah,
it's coming.
But yeah, it's not selling well.
No, but I think that's the thing he's trying to get across is like we're trying to mend that problem.
Sure, yeah.
And there'll otherwise be no reason to show that, you know.
I think it was because Fighters was such a huge hit last year.
I think it could be.
Yeah,
I mean, possibly,
they wanted another like Dragon Ball.
But
they wanted
the way he made mention of like my trip to Japan, which people have made fun of on the internet.
Yeah.
Like he's talked about like I went to my trip to Japan, and like every time something missed the Xbox One, it's like Phil's trip to Japan must have gone great.
Yeah, boy. I think for a lot of people, they don't know that those Shonen Jump characters have been in games before. There's been like fighting games. Surya, what are those called? Help me out.
They're called fighting games.
The fighting games, the Shonen Jump fighting games.
The Jump Ultimate Stars?
Jump Stars.
Jump
and
Super
stuff like
Stars.
that. So it's not unprecedented. It's just like the 3D take on it and getting that front and center stage. I think it
Yeah.
will surprise a lot of people that they're all together. But that's a good one. All right. Should we keep flying?
Yeah.
Okay. EA revealed that new Command and Conquer, which I thought was a fun twist, but also just like sad that, hey, Command and Conquer on mobile, and now we're going to esports talk. What do they call it? Shoutcast over this entire PlayStation. It just went on for so long. It was a real bummer. And as like an RTS fan, it bummed me out. Also, not to mention that Gamescom 2013, I was in Germany, and they had the free-to-play Command and Conquer. They did the exact same thing and then canceled it. And so, like,
really?
Yeah. They shoutcasted an entire gameplay match of Command and Conquer, the free-to-play one, and then canceled it. And so it's so sad to see this now mobile version, like, Command and Conquer again, everybody. Let's shoutcast it again.
But like a not quite Command and Conquer, really. It's kind of like
Clash of Clans.
I mean,
Clash
it looked
Royale
terrible.
type
Like,
thing.
even as a mobile game, it was here's two bases on the same screen. Just do things, I guess.
Yeah, it's an odd one. Okay, that's mine. Reeves, what do you got, man?
What I got is that Microsoft got me excited about Halo again with Halo Infinite.
Great
I was
one.
surprised about that.
Yeah.
I actually think that they didn't say a lot, but what they said was kind of the right thing. And like they're kind of like going back to Master Chief. We're back on a ring. It's like new tech. It actually looks really good.
It looks awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't think that trailer's getting enough credit for just, it's so bold and weird to start, and maybe just because it started the press conference, they wanted to confuse people of what it was. But I love the idea of a Halo game just focusing on beauty, just treating it like a Planet Earth documentary episode with all these weird aliens. And that made me more nostalgic for the Halo franchise because I love Halo 1 more than anything since Anniversary. Of just like showing green pastures, the beauty of the ring world. Like, yeah, I'm back on board. Whatever this is, I'm so much more interested.
I mean, do you remember I think it was months ago that when 343 was responding to feedback of Halo 5,
Yeah.
like, we heard you, we're going to bring back Master Chief. And everyone's like, no, that's not what we were saying. But it seems like it worked. Like, they're hitting the nostalgia harder because that's what they need to do right now.
Yeah.
Because their original ideas aren't working.
And it showed Master Chief in certain little Cortana chip and whatnot, but does it mean that 6 just will never happen?
I mean, the rumors today were this game is Halo 6, but it's being called Halo Infinite because they're separating it up.
And Infinite implies living world, living game, right?
That's what it implies.
Okay.
maybe.
And is it weird to have that type of game at, in theory, the very tail end of a console generation?
Maybe it is.
Yeah, I mean, what else are they going to do, though?
We don't know.
We don't know how the next console, like, if everything's cloud-based, what does it matter?
Game on. Let's go. Reeves, great one. Kyle, go.
Oh, the trailer for The Quiet Man was very bad.
Holy God, explain this.
So it was a live-action trailer. They hired bad actors, which was an interesting choice of theirs. And it just showed a guy who I believe he was deaf, right? It was the idea.
Yeah.
Wait, oh really?
I think
I didn't
so.
get that at all.
Yeah,
What
so-
press conference was this?
Square
Square
Enix's.
Enix. And it was,
Did
he
you
like
see
walked.
this, Reeves?
No, I didn't see the one.
Is this guy with an emo haircut walked into a back alley, and these thugs just attacked him for no reason. It awkwardly shifted into gameplay for 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And then shifted back to real, the actors. It did nothing to interest me in what this game was. If they had splashed a logo that said, I already forgot what it was called.
Quiet Man.
The Quiet Man on screen, I would have been more intrigued by what they showed.
100%. And
Yeah.
Reeves, it felt like the live action component and basically formula of Quantum Break combined with Square Enix's The Bouncer. It is just,
Yeah.
It was such a stupid, weird vibe, but it's primo E3 snark of watching that trailer.
Yeah,
and just
it was
being
great.
oh, Square, what are you doing?
Alright.
Go watch it because
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's
bad.
it's a pre-recorded video. The Square conference is a pre-recorded video. How did no one watch that and go, no, we can't, no.
Yeah. We'll tweet that one. We'll tweet that one out. Yeah, so that was a
100%.
weird thing.
That was a great one. Imran, what do you got?
What was up with the Anthem panel they did? Because they had BioWare out there,
Yeah.
and then they were showing the footage behind them, but it was the same 5 seconds of concept art and a character jumping off a cliff over and over and looping. And it's
I want to jump off a cliff.
they had to know.
It was weird.
They had to know what happened last time they didn't show enough of a BioWare game, right?
Well, I mean,
Well.
were they trying? I mean, I guess they were just trying to just talk about it more.
It's just a weird structure of your press conference to at the tail end be
Yeah.
let's wind things down and talk on the couch with Casey Hudson and Mark Dara and the writer who I forget the name of, but we didn't meet her when we were on that cover story trip. But I
Yeah.
assume
Yeah.
she's great. It was a weird vibe just of Andrew and Nate talking to them a little bit.
Throwing
And-
tweets up on the screen. Right?
Honestly,
Yeah.
and that should have been the show opener or the middle, and then close it with a really cool trailer.
right.
I don't know, their pacing was entirely off.
it was odd.
Yeah. But to learn more, go to GameInformer.com/Anthem. We have a ton of cool info, but it was
At your own
an
pace.
odd structure. for
At
sure.
your own pace. Yeah.
Let's see. For me, it's also EA related chronologically here. It was the idea that I think EA with Anthem, with Battlefield, they hit it so hard that loot boxes, no go. No loot boxes from us anymore. And they were expecting a wave of applause. And it was smattering of applause level. And it was one of those just, reminders that, yeah, of course, there's still microtransactions. Gamers still hate all this nonsense. Just because you're not doing the super crappy thing and only doing the kind of crappy thing, you're not a hero.
Yeah.
Did you see Andy's tweet about when they announced Battle Royale
No.
for Battlefield?
What did he say?
Said the audience booed.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
I hate that. Let them try it, damn it. Okay, Reeves, what do you got?
I'm surprised that Ubisoft doesn't understand what an origin story is for Assassin's Creed Origins, and their next game is 400 years earlier.
They've been working on for 3 years.
Yeah.
And just
So-
idea that, like, yeah, they're getting that timeline down.
Also, they messed up the SEO on Assassin's Creed because, like, now ACO means 2 different games in 2 consecutive years, and they can't call it Odyssey because that implies to
Oh
Mario.
my god.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Like, so now you have to say the entire title to understand what people are talking about.
AC Odyssey, probably.
Yeah.
It's all Greek to me. Kyle, what do you got?
Oh.
Destiny 2 Forsaken and Sea of Thieves Forsaken Shores.
That is
Imran?
surprising.
I mean,
That's all I've got.
I'm still reeling. I don't know.
I spoke to some folks from Sea of Thieves earlier, and I brought that up to them, and they were like, "Okay, great, good job pointing out that there are 2 words that
They
are
should
the
have
same."
maced you on sight. That's so boring. Please, Imran, say something
also,
interesting.
Sea of Solitude.
Also, Doom Eternal and Halo Infinite, to steal Leo Vader's joke from his
Oh, that is
excellent,
interesting.
his
Yeah.
excellent
I'm glad
videos
that
he's
it
posting
has a
every night.
thesaurus.
Also, I'm also very glad that I was watching Game Informer's live stream at the time, and YouTube chat during that, someone said, "Do me turtle," which is very funny. Imran, hit us with a good one.
Gears of War 5 actually looks really good.
I'm not familiar with the game Gears of War 5.
I'm sorry. Gears.
Oh,
5.
Gears 5.
Yes,
Yeah.
Now, is that Funko Pop thing?
I didn't want to mention that because I didn't want to do 3 negative things in a row.
Yeah.
But wow,
Dude,
Very odd.
okay, so Gears of War is no longer Gears of War unless it's Gears of War Tactics. They announced 3 Gears of War games.
That is
Gears
surprising.
Pop? What was it called?
Gears
Gears
Pop,
Pop.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a Funko Pop mobile game, Gears of War thing. One of the weirdest reveals of the show. Absolutely surprising. Gears of War Tactics, which looks like Gears of War XCOM.
Which looks cool.
yeah, Reeves, you into it?
I'm into it.
Okay, cool. And
I
then
wanna see
Gears
more.
5.
Like a right fit.
And with the Imran, Gears skeptic overall. That Gears 5 trailer, which I guess I like that they're just calling Gears 5 at this point too. Focusing on Kate, focusing on Snow. I feel like it's as bold as they could get and capture as much interest as they could possibly get in a Gears of War 5.
Yeah, I mean, like, from what I've heard about that game, it's going to be like it's open world and using Kate as a protagonist and not just relying on like the son of Marcus Phoenix, who's exactly like Marcus Phoenix.
JD.
It's like,
He shaved his head, man.
He does look very different.
and now he has a weird arm.
It's weird how
Yeah.
different he looks.
It's weird that they're in the snow and he has a big old beard and it's like, oh, little God of War, Gears of War. Of course, that comparison. Also, I like that Kate and Mel, who's her buddy, I forget. But they're like, we got to go on that journey back to where it all began. And like, let's go. And then it shows like how they're traveling there.
Oh,
and
Trey
she's
Parker's
like,
in the game.
But they're traveling there and she's like on a ice windsurfer. Like, like that's the best way they have to go to this new
Like, I think you could sit up there with him. I don't think you have to sit
drive the car. It's so stupid.
Yeah, they have vehicles in Gears of War.
Right. It was silly, but
I think I just realized why it's called Gears 5. Because they didn't want to call Gears of War 4
yep.
that because 4 and 4 rhyme.
Right.
And now they just decided to keep it. Just keep it Gears.
Wait, but they called it Gears of War 4.
Did they? I thought
Yeah.
it was just Gears
No,
4.
they called it Gears of War 4.
No, they definitely called it Gears 4 at the beginning.
They
Maybe
taglined it
yeah.
Gears 4.
Here's what it was. Honestly, Reeves, we were on that cover story trip. I believe that at the first E3 showing, they said Gears 4 on
Yeah.
the screen. And then I think Rod Ferguson, I believe he said at the studio that he was pushing to call it Gears of War 4.
Oh, so somebody else is
So
trying
it's
to
definitely,
push
it was on the
opposite
bubble,
way.
but it was called Gears of War 4.
They should have
Yeah.
called it Gears of 4.
Of course they should have called it Gears of War. But yeah, Gears of War, we probably should have talked about it more. Maybe we will later on in the podcast and the feed throughout the days. Okay, for me, surprising that Battletoads is back from Microsoft.
Yeah.
And the fact that, I don't know if it's a direct inspiration from Cuphead, but I love the idea that one of the few things they emphasize is like hand-drawn characters. And like the little bits that we saw, if it keeps that art style, like that's cool. I
It
love
was a
the idea
very
of just
way forward like art style.
Totally. Actually, do we know who's developing it?
Not way forward.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I want to see more for sure. I think it's fun, and I want to see more of that
It'll
art
probably be a
style.
smaller game, but cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you want duplicates or
No.
Because I have like Jade is evil now and Beyond Good and Evil Surprise.
No,
Which kind of
boo.
talk about? Oh, boo! I'm surprised that our Cuphead DLC is coming in 2019. That's a long time to wait for Cuphead DLC.
What we did they DLC
Takes a
might
long
be a
time to
stretch.
draw those
We don't
pictures,
know
dude.
that it's DLC.
Yeah, it is. They
Yeah,
said it at the
but
beginning.
still.
Yeah,
It said
we don't
DLC at the
know,
beginning.
but
and
we
then
do
they
know.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, you're right. Well, you know, it's
But I'm excited for it.
A lot of frames, dude.
I really
Miss
wanted them
Chalice?
to like pre-delay it and just say like 2019 that just changes to 2020.
Right.
Is it new levels or just you play as a
It's one new world, one new island.
and then you can
cool.
play as her through the rest
Miss
of the game?
Chalice. Yeah.
I guess so. I'm not
That's
sure.
what I thought. I don't
I
know.
assume so. Kyle, what do you got?
I'm glad. I think I'm out.
What do you? Okay, Imran, what do you got?
Alright.
I think Ghost of Tsushima looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think it's looks janky in the way Sucker Punch games look janky.
How dare you?
What?
It's like
Sucker
janky?
Punch games look
What are you
great.
talking
No,
about?
they look by janky. I mean,
Why
like
would you say
a
that?
certain way the animation goes.
Good.
I think you're wrong,
I really
Imran,
like,
but I do think
yeah.
that seeing that based on that first teaser trailer and then seeing the gameplay demo at PlayStation's conference, it was a moment of like, oh, this is just a game.
Yeah.
You know?
I actually, I did. In that regard, yes, I had that. Same
It's like it's the way frames are cut between animations, and it's like something they did with Sly Cooper and what they did with Infamous. It feels and looks a certain way in Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah,
Dude,
I think
it's
that's what
like
you're
that.
saying. Maybe it looks a little awkward, but it benefits gameplay.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't think
Cole
I don't
moves-
think it looks. I think it's their style.
like the way Cole moves in Infamous looks a little weird.
Yeah.
But he plays so well, and I bet
Yeah.
that's kind of
Yes.
what we're seeing.
They
also,
go for gameplay over like
Yeah.
look,
Yeah.
which I'm for.
yes,
and you talk about animation, like my favorite part of the entire Ghost of Tsushima demo and like the leaves falling, I think was great. Overall, the aesthetic was great, but I love like the first time the character took out his sword, how fast that was.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
fact that it was just like as samurai as possible, just like flink, and then just a big old slice. Also, I
One-
love
Talk
quick
about good
death.
zips.
good zips, absolutely.
zips.
And talking about like talking again about like the camera, I think it was really interesting. The camera wasn't stuck behind the character. It wasn't just like third person soul style combat. Like during some of those fights, the camera was like to the side. Like it was doing some weird stuff.
It got really Bushido Blade at the end.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah, full on Blade. For me, surprising how much of free fall and interest there was from last year to this year in Quake Champions. I feel like it was Bethesda getting out there and begging for anybody to care.
They
about
were
Quake
literally giving it away
Champions.
for free.
Yeah, please, Quake Champions, people.
I mean, I booted it up a couple of weeks ago, and like there was no one playing. I
boot
could
it
not
up,
get
boot
a
it out.
match.
That's so sad. Reeves, what do you got?
I'm surprised that Bethesda stole my joke from Game Enforcer about Skyrim being on Alexa, and it's real.
Yeah, it being real was the part that threw me.
Yeah,
That's fun. I like that sketch though. It was funny.
It was funny.
It helps
So-
that they hired like one of the best sketch comedians
Yes.
in the world.
All right, we should
you
explain. Game Enforcer we do every April with Game Informer, where it's just a bunch of jokes, and we talked about new Skyrim editions, and one of them was an Alexa edition.
Which,
And
by
then
the way,
that
if
was
you
pretty
like, I embedded a photo of that in the story about.
Oh,
Alexa.
good,
So if you go
okay.
find that story on our site, you'll see it.
But do you, in your heart of hearts, believe that Bethesda ripped us off, or is it just such a lazy joke that, of course, they thought of it too?
lazy. Come on. No, I mean I don't think they ripped us off. I think it's just two geniuses.
Todd Howard.
No, Ben
Yeah.
Reeves and Keegan Michael Key.
That's
Of
right.
course,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I love that it's real.
It was funny.
I think that's
and
really
I
cool.
thought the sketch was funny.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Imran.
Are we just going back to me again?
Yeah.
I was not prepared to
I
go be
wrote
that
down.
fast.
I'm glad
Yeah.
Fallout 76 can be played solo, but I think we talked about that.
Yeah, that's
already.
good. All right.
So
Imran.
I think the nuke thing in Fallout 76 is super weird, and it kind of goes against the tone of Fallout.
The fact that nukes are still around, because in theory they should have launched them all?
No, but it should be like Fallout isn't at its heart a denuclearization or anti-nuclear tale.
Uh-huh.
It's like this is the horrors of nuclear weapons, and now it's like we just left them around. You can nuke it whoever you want in multiplayer.
No, I'm no Fallout expert. But is the message of Fallout really the horror of nukes? That's Metal Gear. Like,
It's also Metal Gear, but like Fallout is this
it's
is
the
what
fun
happened
of nukes, isn't it?
in that you're being killed by a radioactive bear.
Yeah, daddy.
yeah, I guess Fallout is just I don't know. It's like to me, it's always been like the nukes happen. Let's just do the best we can. Where
Right.
comparatively, Metal Gear is like we can't let this happen.
Right.
You know.
And I don't
So-
want to get political, and I will ban any of you from getting political, but it is interesting, like the amount of nukes that were on stage during the press conference this year while Trump is meeting with Kim Jong-un. It's just a good time and a place timestamp for E3 2018. Like, this is a vibe, man. This is a vibe in our mind space. But yes, I hear you. I have a similar thing a little bit. I'm shocked by Todd Howard, who I don't believe likes online games, is not the biggest fan of games that aren't just single-player RPGs, that they got him up on stage to really promote and hype up the idea of an online Fallout as much as he did.
They needed him to.
They needed him to? He
Otherwise,
did
it
it?
would have felt like a bad spinoff.
Right. As Batman said, good soldier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He said that to Robin in Dark Knight Returns.
That's right.
But
Gotcha.
it's just crazy that he got up there, and I bought it. I don't think he's being disingenuous. It's like,
Yeah.
did he come around, or what's going on here?
Todd's good on stage.
Todd's good on stage.
He's got
Todd
good
is
stage
God.
presence.
Reeves, what do you got?
I'm surprised that Telltale's still making Walking Dead games. And they announced a final season, apparently.
They did that like a couple months ago, man.
Did they? That was announced a couple... Well,
I'm surprised you aren't in the loop.
I'm very surprised.
Imran,
as
let's
well.
go. What do you got?
Battletoads again.
That's very good.
Yeah.
For me, Square Enix press conference, it's small. It's a crossover. I love the Final Fantasy 14 cross Monster Hunter World.
It's
event.
especially
And
funny
you will
'cause,
be
like,
playing it?
I played 30 hours of Final Fantasy 14, Kyle.
Do you know?
So help me God, I really did. And it's good.
There are 2 steps listed to how to play the Monster Hunter World content. First step is create an account. Second step is level to level 70.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's really interesting. I had no idea it did that. I like that idea. I like everyone drinking potions. Was that like an Oron skin? Looking in the beginning, it was like a weird vibe out of the gate. But I think it's fun to have these 2 big games cross over in such an interesting way. I don't think it'll make me go back and play it, but I'm happy that Monster Hunter World's expanding for the crossover outside of that even. Does anybody have any more surprises?
Well, I'm surprised with all those leaks from Canadian Walmart that the one that seems like wasn't real or was maybe a red herring was Splinter Cell.
The one.
Yeah,
it
the
really
one
was
that
the
I-
one.
Yes.
And the one I wanted the most was also Splinter Cell.
Also, Leo mentioned this in our live streams, but they had like green lights on the sides of the stage, seemingly setting it up after like in between every sequence and nothing. That's crazy. Biggest surprise. Oh, Reese, you have more.
I'm also surprised that Joseph Gordon-Levitt owns a company.
Also, Elijah Wood.
Yeah. I mean, I have a bunch of dumb ones. We mentioned most
Hit
of them
it.
already. I'm surprised that Bethesda doesn't understand why we like Fallout. I'm surprised that Unraveled 2 exists
And is out
and
now.
is out now.
That
And
is
that was
weird.
kind of a fun
Speaking
company.
of not understanding why we like things,
Yeah.
is Just Cause 4 a little too grim and dark for anybody else?
It's just spooky tornadoes.
Yeah, but like the entire...
They need a marketing tone. I'm sure the game will be fine.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm
I
also
thought that looked fun.
I'm also surprised we only got 17 new Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers.
They really should have gone for the even 20.
Yeah.
Was it scary to anybody else when Todd Howard said that more people played Fallout Shelter than any of their
Yes.
main games combined?
Yeah, but you download that, you go, okay, this is interesting for like a minute,
Right.
then you delete it.
Right.
It was scary. It made me uncomfortable.
I'm surprised and delighted that this year both Microsoft and Bethesda really hit it home, and I feel like this is the biggest E3 ever for the one, the only. Talking John Denver, ladies and gentlemen. This is John Denver's GDE3, as far as I can tell.
Well, I mean, that song was also featured heavily in the Kingsman sequel too.
Oh, really?
So
Really?
it's like it's been like this thing at the forefront
Oh,
for like a
also
couple
that
months.
other movie about the bank heist. Remember
Logan Lucky.
Logan Lucky. It's at the
Yeah.
end of Logan Lucky. Like in the last couple of years, John Denver, if you look at like that Google Trends, skyrocketed.
Spotify plays like
It
way
could
up
not
there.
be higher. Ready? Country road, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama,
Mountain Mama.
take me home, country road. That was just a clip from a larger show called The Game Informer Show. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, or GameInformer.com. We take the fun opportunities and exclusive information from Game Informer magazine and boil it into a show that airs every Thursday with exclusive cover story information, developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff. So come love games with us.